Welcome back to another episode of Review Remedy by ScoreDoc. I'm Ava Dawson, and today we're talking about something that is incredibly important and honestly, increasingly relevant for so many people: finding trusted psychiatry care in and around Fairfax, Virginia. Have you ever had one of those stretches where your mind just will not slow down? You wake up tired, your thoughts are racing, work feels heavier than usual, and even small things start to feel weirdly hard. For a lot of people, that's not just a bad day. It can be anxiety, emotional burnout, ongoing stress, or something that deserves a closer look.
Absolutely. And in real life, it usually doesn't show up with some big dramatic warning sign. It's more like pressure stacking up. Work pressure, family responsibilities, financial stress, expectations from other people, expectations from yourself. And after a while, that can start affecting sleep, focus, mood, relationships, all of it. That's why finding reliable mental health support matters. Psychiatry clinics can help evaluate and treat conditions like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, PTSD, and other mental health concerns through things like therapy, counseling, and medication management.
Right, and just to ground this conversation a little, not every stressful week means you need medical treatment. Sometimes the first step really is the basics: more consistent sleep, regular movement, a break from screens, mindfulness, maybe just talking openly with someone you trust. Those things can make a real difference. But if symptoms are lasting for weeks, interrupting daily life, affecting your ability to function, or making relationships harder, that's when professional support may be worth considering.
And that's where choosing the right clinic gets tricky. There are a lot of options, and online reviews can be helpful, but also kind of overwhelming. Some are emotional, some are brief, some are old, and it's not always obvious what patterns actually matter.
Exactly. So in this episode, we're leaning on ScoreDoc's review analysis to make that process clearer. This list is based on measurable patient feedback from top medical review platforms, looking at factors like overall ratings, review volume, recent review activity, patient sentiment patterns, and reputation indicators over the past 24 months.
And that time frame matters. Recent reviews tend to give a better sense of what the patient experience is like now, not 2 or 5 years ago when staff, systems, or scheduling may have been totally different.
Exactly. So today we're walking through ScoreDoc's 5 best-rated psychiatry clinics in and around Fairfax, Virginia in 2026. Out of 57 psychiatry clinics evaluated in the area, these 5 stood out based on recent review activity, patient sentiment trends, and consistent reputation signals. And just to be very clear before we get into the list, this is not a statement about clinical competence. It's a review-based snapshot designed to help listeners start their search with more confidence and less guesswork.
Well said. Think of it as a practical shortlist built from patient feedback, not a final verdict. And with that, let's get into the clinics that made the list. Here are the 5 clinics identified by ScoreDoc. Fairfax Mental Health and Wellness, Inspire Behavioral Health in Fairfax, Inspire Behavioral Health in Vienna, LifeStance Therapists and Psychiatrists Arlington, and McLean Neuropsychiatric Treatment Center.
Let's go one by one, because this is where the review details really help. First up is Fairfax Mental Health and Wellness in Fairfax. This clinic had a 4.3 rating, 36 total reviews, 6 recent reviews, and 80.6% positive sentiment. ScoreDoc noted steady patient feedback patterns across review platforms, especially around mental health services, communication, and clinic interactions.
That phrase, steady feedback patterns, is important. It suggests there's enough consistency in patient commentary to spot themes, which is way more useful than reacting to one glowing review or one angry one.
Second is Inspire Behavioral Health in Fairfax. This one posted some very strong review metrics: a 4.8 rating, 111 total reviews, 47 recent reviews, and 95.5% positive sentiment. That combination stands out because it's not just a high rating. It's also a high volume of reviews with strong recent engagement.
Yeah, and when you see both strong sentiment and active recent participation, that usually gives a more current picture of patient experience. Again, not a clinical claim, but definitely a meaningful reputation signal.
Third is Inspire Behavioral Health in Vienna. This location had a 4.4 rating, 84 total reviews, 32 recent reviews, and 84.5% positive sentiment. According to the report, patient feedback highlighted care quality, interactions, and overall clinic services, with ongoing participation from patients sharing treatment experiences.
And I like that this episode includes both Fairfax and Vienna because realistically, people often search by region, not just city limits. If a nearby location has the right scheduling or fit, that matters.
Exactly. Fourth on the list is Life Stance Therapists and Psychiatrists Arlington. Their review data showed a 4.2 rating, 37 total reviews, 15 recent reviews, and 78.4% positive sentiment. ScoreDoc described the feedback here as reflecting care services, appointment processes, and overall interactions, with steady patient satisfaction trends.
That appointment process piece is huge. Sometimes when people read psychiatry reviews, they focus only on whether patients liked a provider. But logistics matter too. Was scheduling manageable? Did the office communication feel clear? Was the process smooth enough that people could actually stay engaged in care?
Yes, and that leads perfectly into the fifth clinic, McLean Neuropsychiatric Treatment Center in McLean. This clinic had a 4.7 rating, 33 total reviews, 11 recent reviews, and 90.9% positive sentiment. The report says patient comments highlighted experiences with psychiatric care and clinic services, with strong positive feedback across multiple platforms.
So when you step back and look at the full list, you've got 5 clinics that stood out from a pool of 57 based on measurable review indicators, ratings, volume, recency, sentiment, and overall reputation patterns.
And I want to underline one thing because it matters a lot in healthcare conversations. These rankings are based on patient feedback trends and review analysis, not on promises about outcomes and not on clinical claims. They're useful because they reflect how patients describe their experience over time.
Right, reviews can tell you a lot about communication, consistency, responsiveness, and the day-to-day reality of interacting with a clinic. That's valuable information when you're already dealing with stress and trying to make a clear decision. So let's make this practical. If you're using reviews to choose a psychiatry clinic, start with recent reviews. I know that sounds obvious, but it really matters. Older reviews can reflect a completely different staff, different scheduling systems, or just a different clinic experience altogether. Then, look for patterns in communication. Do patients mention feeling heard? Do they describe staff as responsive? Are people talking about clear explanations, follow-up, or respectful interactions? In mental health care especially, communication is not some side detail. It's central to the experience.
Yes, and I'd add appointment experience to that list. Reviews often reveal whether it's difficult to get scheduled, whether front desk interactions feel smooth or frustrating, and whether the overall process feels organized. That may sound small, but when someone is already overwhelmed, friction in the system can be a real barrier.
Exactly. And don't read reviews like a detective hunting for one perfect answer. Read them for themes. If the same strengths or concerns show up repeatedly across recent reviews, that's usually more useful than any single comment.
I love that framing. This list is best used as a starting point, not the whole decision. Once a clinic catches your attention, verify the details directly. Visit the clinic's website, confirm location and contact information, and if you can, review the clinic's current patient resources and appointment options.
And if you want to go deeper, ScoreDoc recommends reviewing the full reports and even checking individual review platforms yourself. That extra step can help you compare what patients are saying across sources instead of relying on one snapshot.
So if you live in Fairfax or nearby areas like Vienna, McLean, or Arlington, and you're beginning the search for psychiatry care, this list can save you time and give you a more structured place to begin. The full article is linked in the description if you want the complete comparison and methodology.
And just to wrap it up, informed choices usually start with clear, data-driven information. That doesn't replace your own judgment, but it does make the search a whole lot more manageable.
Exactly. We hope this episode helped make that process feel a little less overwhelming and a little more grounded. Thanks for spending time with us on Review Remedy by ScoreDoc.
I'm Daniel Garcia.
And I'm Ava Dawson. We'll see you next time. Bye, Daniel.
Bye, Ava. Take care, everyone.